A groundbreaking study from Oxford University uncovered something that most men completely overlook. It turns out that 72% of women make an unconscious decision about a man within the first 7 seconds of physical contact. And no, I'm not talking about kissing or intimacy. This is about something as simple as a touch on the arm or shoulder. Think about that for a second. 7 seconds. That's barely enough time to say hi. Yet her subconscious mind is already evaluating you. That tiny fleeting touch communicates more about you than words ever could. Certain areas of a woman's body act like a truth detector for emotions. When she allows you to touch these areas, her brain is actually lighting up pathways that process trust, intention, and emotional safety. Something profound is happening neurologically when she gives that permission. Before you start thinking, this is some kind of cheap trick or manipulative technique, let me make one thing very clear. I am a woman, and everything I'm about to share is rooted in real female psychology, supported by neuroscience and years of research on human behavior. This is not theory or speculation. These are truths women rarely admit out loud. Here's the reality. A woman's body has what psychologists refer to as tiered trust zones. These zones are like an invisible ladder, each one representing a different level of emotional connection and vulnerability. When she allows contact in a specific area, it is not random. It's a clear signal from her subconscious mind about where you stand in her trust and emotional hierarchy. Most men completely misread these signals. They see a touch and assume it means one thing, when it actually means something else entirely. Misreading these cues often leads to missed opportunities, and most men never even realize what they lost. In the following parts, I will map out each trust zone, explain what it means when she allows contact, and reveal the one specific area of her body that communicates the highest level of emotional trust. But first, you need to understand a fundamental truth about touch. Touch is not just physical, it is chemical, neurological, and deeply emotional. Women process touch in a radically different way than men. Every contact is a conversation between your intentions and her subconscious. Let's dive deeper into the science. Dr. Matthew Hertenstein from Deeper University conducted a fascinating experiment. Participants were asked to communicate emotions solely through touch, without speaking or even making eye contact. The results were astonishing. Participants could identify emotions like gratitude, compassion, and love with 60% accuracy, 3 times higher than chance. Here's the crucial part. Women were significantly better at both sending and receiving these emotional touch signals. Our brains are literally wired to read intentions through the touch. This means that when a man touches a woman, she is not only sensing the physical contact, but also scanning energy. Is this touch safe, genuine, respectful? Intention. Are you here to connect or to manipulate? Respect. Do you acknowledge her boundaries and personal space? Every movement, every pressure, every delay is processed by her subconscious mind, and this processing happens instantaneously, often before she even consciously realizes it. Now understand the mechanics of trust. Now, let's break down how touch actually communicates trust. It's not just about where you touch. It's about how you touch. Consider this. A woman may allow one man to touch her arm and feel absolutely nothing. She may allow another man to touch the exact same spot and shiver with awareness, feeling a deep emotional connection. The difference lies entirely in the energy and intention behind the touch. A study from the University of Gothenburg in Sweden explains why this happens. Researchers discovered that slow, gentle touch activates a special class of nerve fibers called C-tactile fibers. These fibers respond only to touch, moving between 110 centimeters per second. When activated, they release oxytocin, the hormone associated with emotional bonding. This explains why rushed or rough touches make her instinctively pull away. Slow, deliberate touches make her feel safe and emotionally connected. Her nervous system is literally assessing your trustworthiness through touch, and different zones of her body contain varying concentrations of these fibers. The more fibers, the higher the trust conveyed when she allows contact. Now that you understand the science behind touch, let's map the tiered trust zones. We'll go zone by zone, from the least intimate to the most revealing, explaining exactly what each gesture communicates. Level 1. Arms and shoulders. Basic trust. The arms and shoulders are the most accessible areas for a woman. When she allows contact here, it signals that she views you as safe and non-threatening. Think about a casual social situation. She lets you place a hand on her shoulder while laughing at a joke. This is not necessarily romantic. It's simply a test of comfort and safety. Many men misinterpret this as a green light to move forward romantically. It's not. It's a gateway, a first step in a hierarchy of trust. Key points. Duration matters. A 1-second touch is casual. 3-4 seconds with no reaction suggests growing comfort. Context matters. If she leans slightly into your touch, her body is signaling approval. If she stiffens, she is merely tolerating it. Level 2. Hands and wrists. Personal vulnerability. Moving to hands and wrists, the emotional stakes are higher. Hands are personal and expressive. They are extensions of identity. When a woman lets you hold her hand or touch her wrist, she is subconsciously allowing access to her personal space and demonstrating vulnerability. The wrist is delicate, with exposed pulses, making it psychologically significant. Real-life example. A woman laughing at a joke allows you to gently rest your hand on her wrist. This gesture is not accidental. It's a subtle communication of trust and connection. Touching her wrist while she is focused on a task is different. It can feel intrusive, unless the context is playful or supportive. Psychological insight. This level requires emotional awareness. Men who fail to notice subtle reactions, like relaxed fingers versus tense muscles, often misread trust. Level 3. Lower back. Protective trust. The lower back is fascinating. It is tied to our center of gravity, a spot we cannot see directly, making it psychologically intimate. When a man touches this area, she is essentially allowing protective proximity. What to look for? If she leans into the touch, she feels safe. If she stiffens or steps back, the touch is unwelcome. Common scenario. Guiding someone through a doorway. Many women allow this touch automatically, but the subtle body reaction is the key indicator. If she relaxes, it's trust. If she tenses, it's mere courtesy. Level 4. Neck and face. Deep vulnerability. These are the most intimate zones before we reach the ultimate trust indicator. Neck, highly sensitive, with exposed veins and skin. Allowing touch here requires significant trust. Face represents identity and presentation to the world. Touching it communicates access to her personal and social identity. Examples. Brushing hair behind the ear. Soft touch on the cheek during conversation. These gestures may seem small, but they are subconscious permissions. When she allows them, it means she is comfortable with vulnerability and emotional closeness. Extra insight. Not all women react the same way. Some may tolerate casual brushes in public, but true consent and comfort is visible in relaxed body language, gentle smiles, and leaning toward the touch. Part 6. The ultimate trust zone. Hair. Now we reach the most revealing zone, the hair. Yes, it sounds simple, But here's why it is psychologically profound. Hair is closely tied to identity and femininity. Women invest time, care, and attention into hair. It represents a controlled and personal space. Touching it signals the highest level of subconscious trust. How to read reactions. She remains still and relaxed. She leans her head slightly into your hand. She closes her eyes for a brief moment or smiles naturally. These reactions are instinctive, not fabricated. Her parasympathetic nervous system is signaling safety, comfort, and acceptance. Important caveat. This level of trust does not appear instantly. It comes after successfully navigating the previous zones, showing respect, patience, and genuine interest. The hair touch is the culmination of trust, not a starting point. Real-life scenario. You have been interacting naturally and respectfully over a period of time. She laughs, leans closer, and you notice a strand of hair falling over her face. You gently tuck it behind her ear. Her relaxed posture, small smile, or brief eye closure indicates she is comfortable with you in her most personal space. This is emotional intimacy in its purest form, far more significant than any casual gesture or physical advance. Understanding the trust zones is only half the battle. Many men misinterpret or mishandle touch, which can completely undermine trust. Let's break down the 4 biggest mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake 1. Rushing to intimate zones. The most common mistake is moving too quickly. A man sees comfort in the arms or hands and assumes it's a green light to escalate to more intimate areas. Reality check. Skipping levels triggers a threat response. The woman's nervous system perceives the advance as unsafe, activating her fight or flight response. Even if you continue to act respectfully afterward, she will still feel residual discomfort. Example. You meet someone at a party. Within minutes, you attempt to touch her lower back. Even if you mean well, she may pull away or tense up, signaling discomfort. Interpretation. Your timing was off, not necessarily your intentions. Key principle. Trust is earned step by step, not rushed. Mistake 2. Transactional touch. Some men touch women with an agenda, expecting affection or romantic favor in return. Women instinctively sense this. Genuine touch comes from connection and care. Transactional touch feels mechanical or manipulative. Example, touching her hand after a compliment, but expecting a kiss or deeper response. She feels the expectation subconsciously, which diminishes trust and connection. Mistake 3. Ignoring pullback signals. Women often communicate through subtle body language. Leaning back slightly, crossing arms, shifting position. These are not shyness or game playing. They are clear signals that the current level of contact is not welcome. The right response: respect the distance without drama. Avoid insisting or trying to convince her. Maintain genuine, relaxed interaction. Paradoxically, respecting these subtle boundaries often builds more trust than attempting to force closeness. Mistake 4. Nervous or inconsistent touch. A nervous man touches erratically. 1 second on the shoulder, then nothing for 10 minutes, then an abrupt, long touch. Effect. Confuses her subconscious mind. Makes the interaction feel forced or unnatural. Correct approach. Let touch flow organically within the conversation. Avoid overthinking or orchestrating each gesture. Think of touch as part of a natural dialogue, not a checklist. Touch is not one way. Women also initiate contact when interested. Recognizing this provides valuable information about her emotional state. Subtle cues. Women give. Initiating touch without practical reason. Playfully nudges your arm. Fixes your collar or hair. These are not accidental. They signal interest in connection, responding positively to proximity. If you move closer and she stays or leans in, it's a good sign. If she moves away or rotates her body, she needs more space. Reading each interaction independently. Personal space varies daily, depending on mood, environment, and previous interactions. One positive response yesterday does not guarantee the same today. Touching first. When a woman initiates contact, she is taking emotional risk. It's a subtle form of vulnerability and interest. Touch is a conversation, not a tool, technique, or shortcut to attraction. Respect and consistency matter more than bold gestures. Hair is the ultimate trust zone. It signals highest level of subconscious comfort and emotional intimacy. Observe subtle cues. Gestures, leaning, smiles, and micro movements communicate her internal state. Avoid rushing, transactional touch, ignoring pullbacks, and inconsistent gestures. These mistakes erode trust. Emotional safety comes first. When a woman feels safe, vulnerability and connection naturally follow. Practical advice. Next time you interact with a woman, watch micro reactions, not just overt signals. Respect every level of trust. Approach touch as a dialogue, not a conquest. Understand that emotional connection outweighs physical gestures. When you apply this knowledge thoughtfully, you don't just gain access to her body. You create a space where she feels safe, valued, and genuinely connected that is far more meaningful than any immediate physical response.